Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm here today with Lane Victoria. Lane, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm just excited to interview our next entertainer.
Yes. So we have RP Harrell, and he has quite a history.
He does.
So I'm pretty excited to hear from him.
Yes, and we've been trying for a long time to get him on the show, and he finally decided he'd come. So, but before we get to that, we have another edition of Dumb Questions or Things That Make You Go, Okay, so here we go. And I think some of these we may have mentioned years ago, but we brought them back. How does a thermos know if it's supposed to keep something hot or something cold?
The CIA.
The CIA. There we go. I think there's probably some scientific reasoning behind that. When it rains, why don't sheep shrink? Try and say that. That's hard.
That's a good point.
I don't know. Okay, next, do Lipton employees take coffee breaks?
I would say absolutely, because they need coffee to stay excited about Lipton tea.
That was pretty good. This is a good one. We've never done this one. How does a shelf salesman keep his store from looking empty? Okay. How does a shelf salesman keep his store from looking empty? That's an interesting question. Okay, next one, last one, and then we'll be done. If practice makes perfect and nobody's perfect, why practice?
I'm questioning all my life decisions now.
Okay, here we go. Which one of these was the dumbest? Any idea?
Sheep.
The sheep one. Okay, when it rains, why don't sheep shrink? So, there we go. I don't know. I think the thermos one's kind of dumb too, but anyway. Folks, we are going to be back in just a second with RP Harrell. Stay tuned.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson, and today we have a very special guest with us, RP Harrell. It's good to finally have you here. I've been working on for this couple of years to get you here.
I've been trying to get on here for years. What's the holdup?
So RP, you're over at the Clay Cooper Theater, and when I was doing my research, I was just amazed at your history. And so I want you to take our audience, and we're going to talk about your show and what you're doing now, but I want you to take people way back to kind of when you went to Nashville and kind of right in that and start from there.
Well,
or Memphis. I said Nashville, Memphis.
I was a young boy. Down in East Texas, down in Lufkin, in junior high school. Always played with the older guys in bands. You know, I was the little kid in the band, and this guy I was working with was a local radio DJ, and he had got a record deal. So he said, "Hey, we got to go to Memphis, and I have to record this record. See if you can get out of school for a day or two." So went through the principal and all that. Got released from school. Go to Memphis, and little did I know it was at Sam Phillips' studio at Sun Records there, which I had no idea what that was or anything about it. I was just a kid. So we get there, and I start looking at the walls, and it dawns on me that here's Elvis and Jerry Lee and all these hits that came out of this room, and I'm getting pretty nervous and all that. But what that really locked me into, I'd never been in a recording studio, so that's where my love started with that, with the Memphis thing. And so we cut that record, which was absolutely the biggest miss you ever heard. It wasn't a hit. It was a pretty bad record. And but anyway, it was a great experience, which kind of started my love for the recording industry. Right. And pretty cool to get out of school a day or two and go to Memphis and cut at Sam Phillips' studio. So that's kind of how I landed in the first studio in Memphis there. Yeah. And absolutely got nowhere near a hit record, but it was really fun to be there.
Yeah. And so tell people what happened kind of after that, because you've had a long career in the music industry.
Well, to paraphrase a lot, basically, stayed the kid in the band, and then I had to completely move from my hometown to Lufkin, Texas, over to Houston to work with this same DJ guy. And if I wanted to continue, I had to go 6 nights a week in this little smoky club in Houston, playing a trio, piano, bass, drums, which is a great learning place because it's you're it, you know. So anyway, did that for a year or two, and then they started doing these gigs where you had to be in the union in order to play at these specific venues. So I had to join the musicians union. I thought that was a really big deal, and realized it was really big when I ended up in Shreveport, living there in Louisiana, and with no place to live, starving to death. I was basically living in my car, and so this sweet little lady would leave the back door unlocked at the Union Hall at night, and I was living in the Union Hall. In comes this road group looking for a Hammond B3 player to go to Las Vegas, and I said, Las Vegas, you know, and I'm like, I don't know, 16 years old.
Wow.
So I said, I'm in. I quit the DJ immediately, loaded up, and hooked up with an old buddy and got myself a fake ID. And
You heard it here first.
I did.
You heard it here first.
Had a fake ID and my little old union card, which you had to have to work Vegas, and I got in absolutely every show in casino in Las Vegas except the Golden Nugget where I was working. And every day I got busted. Every day. This same security guard hated me, and every day I'm going, rah, rah, rah. And so anyway, with all that said, that's how I landed up there, and we did that for 2 or 3 years. We'd play Vegas 3 or 4 times a year. We'd go play at the Nugget there, and it was more country music. And they kind of dialed into me because I could play whatever I did at the time of country piano, and we would cut our hair and dress country and go. We were actually a top 40 funk band at the time, so we would fool them and go play Las Vegas with all these killer country bands that blew us off the stage. And so with all that said, during that era right there, I got one of the coolest things that ever happened. I was out scouting Las Vegas with my fake ID in the middle of the afternoon on a day off, and I go out to the International Hilton. Elvis is in town. This is 69, whatever. And I go, man, look at all this Elvis stuff. You know, the slot machines got Elvis on them. Everything's Elvis, Elvis. And so I'm just roaming around. And I walk over by the showroom, and the ropes are up, of course, and you can't get in, and there's a security guard, and he walks off, and I'm fearless. So I go up to the door, and it's unlocked. And this is truth. I walk in, I go around the ropes, and I open the door, and the theater's blacked out, the house lights are off. There's Elvis and the TCB band tearing it up. I walk over and get in the shadows, and I stand there for like 20, 25 minutes watching Elvis rehearse.
Wow.
And to this day, any of those guys that are still alive that I worked with, nobody believes I did that. But I watched Elvis rehearse for almost a half hour till I got freaked out and scared and all that. But closest I ever got to Elvis anyway. So.
Yeah. What a neat experience.
Yeah, well, you know, it was all right.
Yeah.
It was all right.
So you were in some other bands.
Well, I've
right?
been in a lot of bands through the years. Got married in 1972. Married this sweet little country girl from West Texas, and drug her out of Texas Tech University and corrupted her and put her on the road with a hippie band. And she was a sweetie. We lived 12 years. We kind of traveled up near and far, and for the last 5 of that, always trying to make a family. Couldn't get pregnant, but we finally dominoed. After 12 years, we had our only daughter, who's now, I'm not sure how old Katie is, but she's 30-something. But anyway, we had a daughter, and then that's when I started focusing more on, okay, back her up, slow her down, and try to make some kind of normal life for this kid. So anyway, that was how the family life kind of got started.
Yeah. So you toured with Johnny Lee, right? For when he was as well.
When that movie hit, we were the snobs on the north side of Houston. We were the studio band cutting most of the hits that came out of Houston at the time, and kind of an in-demand studio band. And we ended up being the nighttime band in this really hot club in Houston for a long time. And the North and the South, the two never met. I mean, it was like a competition type
Okay,
thing. And
okay.
so when we heard, oh, they're shooting this movie out at Gilley's, oh, that's going to be a dandy, you know. Oh boy, yeah, I bet that's a good one. Well, sure enough, that Urban Cowboy movie hit, and to cut to the chase, the energy crisis and disco music hit, and live music was going out, and the Urban Cowboy thing was tearing up the world. And I get a call, and the drummer and I both, we kind of broke up this Texas cooking band we'd had for years, and everybody scattered, and the drummer and I went to work with Johnny on his first solo with his first band. He had been touring with Mickey after he already had 2 or 3 hit records in his pocket, you know. So we, at that time, Johnny was living in North Hollywood, I think it was, up there somewhere. And so we hooked up with Johnny Lee, and I had 5 years with Johnny in those crazy years. 287 one-nighters in 1 year, I remember.
That's a lot. That's
it was
a lot.
crazy, and it
Yeah.
was, but it was a great time, and he was a hoot to work with, and got to see a lot of the world with him.
Yeah. We're going to be back in just a moment to hear more about R.P.
still
Harrell.
talking.
Well, we're going to keep talking. You just got to wait just a moment. So we'll be back in just a moment.
This is the greatest show. Looking back to Texas.
Howdy, y'all. This is Clay Cooper, and I want to welcome you to the live show capital of the world, Branson, Missouri, and my show, Clay Cooper's Country Express.
Do you want to go? Well, it's coming in all the colored lights. The runaways are running the night. Possible come true. It's taking over you. Oh, this is the greatest show.
Take a look at all the incredible entertainment in my 2-hour show. We have 24 veteran entertainers performing a variety of music from classic country to rock and roll, contemporary country to pop, as well as gospel and patriotic. Lots of variety for all ages. Listen to this 6-piece band featuring some of America's finest musicians. Our dancers will blow you away with several styles of dance. Our youth performers, Colton and Caden Cooper.
Wake me up before you go, dreaming, hanging on like a yo-yo.
And our newest addition to the show, James, David, and Jordan, Third Power.
There's gonna be a heartache tonight, I know.
And one of the finest country bluegrass singers you'll find anywhere, Carrie Garrison.
It's like a cheap vacation. What I thought we planned very well.
Can't forget our funny man, Matt Gum. Your sides will hurt with his hysterical comedy. Don't miss this action-packed show located on West 76 Country Boulevard, just across from the Titanic Museum.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson. We are here today with R.P. Harrell with the Clay Cooper Theater.
So, RP, you've had quite a history. How did you end up in Branson?
Well, I got arrested. It was a long-term sentence. Due to a lot of things, and I was working with a dear friend that had a 7-album record deal, and we went through 4 or 5 of those albums, and we're living in Arkansas, recording at home and touring very little, but doing a lot of recording and a lot of our artistic work, really, where you really build the music. And you know, time just caught up with us, and after, 5 or 7 albums, there wasn't that many hits, a few, but as nature has it there, when the hits kind of go away, so does,
So does a record label.
kind of so.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was really trying to keep stability for my daughter, so to speak, and I was doing a lot of engineering at the time and really burnt out on playing. So I said, I'm gonna go to Branson. Maybe I hear I don't know what's going on down there, but I know there's a lot of live theaters, and maybe I could get a gig just being an audio engineer. So I came down here and looked around, and nobody gave me the time of day about that. And so I ran into Clint Strong, this world-class guitar player that played with Merle Haggard for a good many years, great jazz guitar player. And he was putting together a band for Rex Allen Jr. at the time, who was starting a show here. And I jumped in on that, and I started with Rex Allen, and that particular thing didn't last very long, as things happen in Branson sometime, due to nobody's fault, it just didn't happen. And so the next thing I knew, Roy Clark was looking a dear friend was leaving Roy Clark's show, the piano player, going to work with Wayne Newton. And so I get that call, and the suit fit. So I got the gig with Roy, and I said, well, this will be cool. You know, at the time I was subbing out the Brumley show in the mornings, and then doing 2 Roy Clark shows, afternoon and night, and then playing at BT Bones, which was a local gathering spot, at night. So I had a pretty full schedule, but I started in about November, really late in the season, and I said, okay, well, what's going to happen here now? It's January, February is the dead time. Well, one of the last shows, I said, well, I guess I'll see you guys in March. And they go, what are you talking about? We leave for Maine in the morning, road shows, you know, dead of winter. So
you didn't get the memo, did you?
I did not get the memo. All I knew is the suit fit and it worked. So anyway, right back on the road with Roy. But luckily for me, right about that time, this show Country Tonight was coming to town from Las Vegas. They were opening that show here, and they needed a musical director. And I went over there, and they're all wearing nudie suits, you know, the sparkles, and I was all too cool for that, I thought. But it was a big production show, and I said, oh boy, I have no clue about anything like this. I'm an old road dog, and I got to, you know.
Welcome to Branson.
Wow, put on a Manuel and go do a...
You need some sequins if you're going to be here.
So I got my sequins on, joined Country Tonight, and that was a 10-year run. And unfortunately, the bass player in that show and the MC was this kid named Clay Cooper. And so when I finally got up being the director and everything of this show, you get appointed these jobs, you know. They come from Las Vegas, put it together and leave, and you're left to run it. So I inherited Clay Cooper, and one of the dancers in the show at that time was Tina Cooper. And she became the choreographer. Clay became the MC and the host. And so after 10 years of that, and trying to keep Clay in line, you know, that's a job. But well, it was a great job. It was a 10-year run, and Clay included, we all learned a great deal from that show. And
you got to be home at night too, because that was part of what you wanted to do.
So I had a great 10-year run there, home at night, a stable life for my daughter, and got to a long, great friendship with Clay Cooper. And so when Clay started coming up the ranks and doing his own thing, luckily we just all kind of worked together. Now I'm getting paid back for those years that I was his boss. So
now he's your boss.
big time.
Yeah. But I'm going to guess, so how many years have you been working with Clay now?
Oh my gosh. Well, that started in about 93 till now.
So 25, 26 years.
Yes.
So a long time. Long time.
I can't stand the guy. I can't. No, I'm serious.
But you guys have a great show over there at Clay Cooper's Theater. And so tell people a little bit about the show and your involvement.
It's a big production show. It's a 6-piece band, a dozen dancers, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 singers. Clay's kids are both in the show, 2 of them. The boys both entertain, and they're really learning well and doing good. And we're a little lacking in the comedy section. Just nothing we can do about it. Somewhere along the line, my daughter lost her mind and married Matt Gum.
Yes. And so for those of you that don't know who Matt Gum is, he is kind of the resident comedian.
He's the resident comedian, and wow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? My grandkids. The DNA thing, I don't know, but
And at least you can keep an eye on him.
I can. I keep him close at hand, and I hope to goodness he doesn't see this show, but he's probably one of the most talented people I've ever seen. He does so many things well. He really does. I don't know how he gets across the street by himself sometimes, but seriously, he's an incredibly talented young man in a lot of ways, and treats my daughter like a queen. And so, what else could you ask for?
So you're considered the musical director, is that correct?
Well, that's using the term loosely, probably. That's what they call me, but honestly, if it wasn't for those guys that I work with and everybody's talents, literally I'll come in and throw out a blueprint, and I'm always open for what they got to say, because these guys are great. They really are.
I was over at the theater the other day trying to track this guy down, and he was laying lots of wire and just doing a lot of behind the scenes things. And then earlier this year, you helped us out when we were bringing in tour operators and travel agents, and you kind of helped produce a showcase for these people, and so we got to work a little bit then, but I didn't have to do much because you did a great job and did it all.
Well, I was starting to call you after that. I was looking for a stage manager, and you really jumped in there, man. You did a good job.
Well, thank you. So, can you tell us anything about the show this year?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's top secret.
So, folks, there you have it. It's top secret. You got to go see it. And you're playing in the band.
I am in the band, and it's a completely new show this year. I mean, 99%. There may be 2 songs that the public's heard before from our show, and it's a lot of work going into it right now, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be a winner.
Yeah. So they'll see you back there playing you still play the keyboards?
I still play the piano and the B3 organ, and we, got another guy we're playing keyboards, and Jonathan Black's our utility guy, and he's great at that. Plays all these other instruments, and
yeah, and see, here's the deal. You got a little bit of his history today, RP's history, and it's amazing history. But you're not going to hear any of this on stage, unfortunately. Maybe you will. I don't know. But a long musical career. You want to settle down, and this is kind of the theme I think is if people want to have a normal family life but still be an entertainer, Branson's a great place for that.
It is.
And I think there's something to that for those entertainers out there that want to get off the road and try and live a normal life, so to say. Branson's a good place to do that. You've been voted Branson's Piano Player of the Year in the past for 3 consecutive years. You're in the Branson Entertainers Hall of Fame. And you've done a lot. And just thank you for sharing your talent with the Branson community and the Branson tourist. And so I just appreciate you a lot.
Nice.
So
I'm thankful for Branson. Believe me, it's been a huge blessing to me and my family for a long time. And the Coopers. I mean, hard to beat those folks.
Folks, this has been another edition of Play Branson. We'll be back in just a moment. Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson, and we just had RP on the show. Awesome stories, and here's the thing: is he has so much stories than he even told,
Yes.
And so, but just the fact as a kid, he was in the same recording studio in Memphis as all those great entertainers. It's really quite amazing.
Yeah, he has some. I would like to just sit down with him over a cup of coffee and hear more of those stories, because I don't think I would have had the boldness to walk into an Elvis Presley rehearsal.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just got to take those chances,
And
so that was inspiring.
And he told us he told us some stories off camera as well. I wish we could have shown some of them. And Matt Gum, I'm just going to tell you, you're lucky that you got to marry his daughter. That's all I'm going to say.
Both of them are amazing.
Anyway, I brought this CD, and sometimes I'm featuring CDs, but I just got a little upset on this CD, and it's not because of the music, okay? But this is the Afters, and I'm a big Afters fan. The Afters. They've been in Branson before at Young Christians Weekend and stuff.
CCM, contemporary Christian music.
And so I bought this CD thinking it was going to be all brand new music, right? And the album is called The Beginning and Everything After, and I'm like, okay, well. And so I put it in, and all of a sudden, I've heard like every song on the album.
So, Chris, most people actually read the back of the album to see what songs are on it first.
I did not do that.
That's a thing.
And so it's like a greatest hits album, but it doesn't say greatest hits on it. And so I called the record company. Did they call me back? No. I called them twice. So fair trade, your customer service stinks. And then I called the I emailed the management company, because I'm like, this is false advertising. You need to put the greatest hits on the CD. Did they respond to me?
So they gave you the CD?
No, I bought it.
You bought it? Did you buy it online?
No, I bought it.
So you bought it in a store?
In a store.
Where you had the ability to turn it over?
Well, but why would I need to turn it over? Why would I need to?
That's what normal people do.
Here's the deal. If you would like this CD, I just want $5 for it. That's it. I just want $5.
Well,
nobody listens to CDs except me, right?
I mean,
I'm old school. I do not buy digital music. Okay, so there you go.
there is something to have.
So I'm just hoping if you're the Afters management, your record company, please call me. And if you'd like to buy the CD back for $5, or if you just like to buy the CD, it's got a lot of great songs on it, but I don't need this. I have them all already. Do you want to buy it?
That's
Okay.
funny.
Okay.
You're a real closer.
Moving on. Show's opening in April. That's right around the corner. Pierce Arrow is opening, and they're calling the show like Gold or Gold Pierce Arrow. So we'll have to get some more information about that. Raiding the Country Vault's coming up. Ronnie McDowell is coming back to town, and he's going to be at Dick Clark's on April 11th, and it says the 15th here. So and then at the end of April, we have the Oak Ridge Boys. They'll be back in town as well. So lots of shows going on. Lots to be still added this time of year. And anyway, do you want to tell people about our guest for next week?
Yes, we have Patrick Haygood coming next week. If you've ever seen the Haygoods, they are just out of this world. So definitely, I'm excited to hear from him.
And so this will be his first time on the show. And so folks, if you want to go see Clay Cooper and see RP, who is our guest today, you can go to ibranson.com, or you can call 1-877
Entertain.
Hey, you got it right this week. Yes, she remembered. I'm so impressed. Anyway, check those folks out. They can help you with all your vacation planning. Thanks for watching iBranson, and we'll see you next week.